At what point does a city stop just getting bigger and start becoming something? Up until now, the city has been growing outwardly with more streets, more buildings and ideas, connection, infrastructure, but expansion without direction is simply just noise. So today I'm expanding the city with purpose, and we'll start by setting the foundations for what's to come. Hello and welcome to Lapis. This is my French architectural city that I've been working on throughout this hardcore series on my forever world that's just over 2,600 days by now. I'm in the process of constructing a whole new district in this city because I've been thinking a lot about recent builds and I'm honestly not satisfied with some of them. I feel that I let myself vomit on a few of them and the city layout and spatial planning is honestly quite lacking. So this district is me trying to one-up my building skills in a way. I've taken lots of your advice, this section is planned much neater and cleaner, and I have a predetermined building design for each plot, everything plotted out for now. I'm focusing more on quality of detail over quantity if that makes sense, but the main reason behind this expansion is that I need an industrial section of the city, so I can store more automatic farms here. And these are some big building plots, so I plan on building them right inside of a few of the buildings, and then kinda hide them in there as I build up, just like how I did with the sugarcane farm and the train station. And in front of those buildings, I've set up a city center here with a roundabout. This is for the massive monuments I'll be building, and yes, like you probably guessed, it'll resemble the Arc De Triomphe. And I know I pronounced that wrong, I'm sorry. This section has really turned out to be a pretty daunting process. I honestly didn't realize while plotting all this how big of an expansion this really was. It's alright though, because as I advance in this series, I want each build to be better than the last so I can really look back one day and be able to visualize how my building and design skills improve throughout this world. But a world doesn't take shape simply from what you can visualize. It's also about what's hidden within the builds, the function you implement, the redstone. I only built 3 farms here. I needed to make sure they were compact enough to fit in each build plot, and I completely misjudged the size of each build plot, so it ended up being only a few different kinds of farms that actually fit in them. I also wanted to save some of these buildings open for interiors as well. There's no way interiors would fit in these buildings with the farms, so I figured I would leave a few buildings, like especially down there. I have a church down there that I've planned out, and a few other cool buildings. These farms are also just schematics I found online on a website, which I will link below, of course. But they'll be pretty useful, especially this stone farm for when I have to expand the city more. It's not a fully automatic one, but it's good enough. When you break this redstone block here, it'll begin creating a wall of stone. It's definitely more efficient than my usual strategy, which is where I would just usually create huge caves in the ground. Yeah, that definitely went well, especially once they got big and dark. And I needed an auto smelter in this region very badly. The only farms I'm missing here now are villager related farm, which are kinda less important at this stage in the game. I really just breed villagers around my city and trade with them for levels. But I think this city needs some form of representation. Something larger than life. a monument to show all the prosperity this city's underwent. As I build this, I just want to say I'm sorry for the upload delay this week. I got caught up with schoolwork, so I was a little backtracked on the building process and editing process for this video. They're making me write a disciplinary research paper because I accidentally left LED lights up in my room. Can you imagine that? I'm also trying to upgrade my content and make the editing flow more creative, so please bear with me because this is all still very new to me. So again, sorry for the wait. Anyways, we got a monument to finish, and I have bigger plans for it than just a landmark, so I will see you at stage 2. I really want to make sure I'm accounting for the size properly, because as I do my research on the real life Arc, it's kind of awing to see how large it is in real life. It was commissioned by Napoleon as a symbol of military power and glory, and that statement definitely shows. It really towers over the surrounding buildings. One day I would love to visit places like these. There's so much history behind it, and I just find that stuff so cool. But this is not me trying to replicate the real life version, more so reference it. This is an important build for the city though. I'm imagining it as a very historical landmark from ancient villagers of the past, who as time went on maintained it up until its modern state. The symbols, statues, and mosaics on the exterior are also my take on ancient art and sculpting done to the walls of the Arc. I'm also in the process of turning the roof portion into a mob farm, where they drop all the way down to be collected. Once I build that, I want the mobs to be visibly falling. I think it'll be a cool addition, a monument that also functions as a mob free-fall farm. I just absolutely cleared out my bones just building this anyway, so I'm definitely due for a mob farm. But all that's left of the interior walls, plus the final spawn proofing and farm setup, and some archway roofing. On the real Arc, they're used as a remembrance for soldiers, but since we already have the Opera House as a name wall, I'll have to repurpose the interior into something else. Something compatible with the mob farm, maybe some clerics and fishermen to promote some trade in the new district of this city. Enough with the theorizing though, let's finish this landmark build in all of its glory. I know I said I was done with the exterior, but I went back and made a few slight adjustments to it. I added some statues to the front, if you could see. Towards the middle section, just a few more blocks. Underneath the angels. They're meant to be like angels. It's whatever you interpret it, that's what I love. I honestly build these things wanting you guys to interpret it in any way possible. But everything's complete, farm is functioning, villagers are all in place. Let me fly up and show you though. So this little roof hut is the AFK room for the farm. I haven't given it any interior, and I honestly don't plan on it. It's a great spot for the farm though. The spawning platforms are just a few blocks underneath. Down here though is where the magic happens. Under all these carpets are hoppers, if you couldn't already guess, which leads from the center into this room in the wall, which acts as a collection and storage for the mob drops. I didn't plan on making it auto sort, and I honestly don't plan on it. I doubt there's any room. However, in the other walls I have a bunch of Fletchers, clerics, and fishermen. Those villagers all have trades that require some sort of mob drop, so I figured keep them close by for levels and repairing my tools. I left the interior kind of minimal. Besides the mosaics on the ceiling, I've been really messing with paintings as a detail, and I love that you can build things right over them. Yeah, it doesn't look like anything recognizable, but you gotta use your imagination. It's all about the little details. Plus, I'm a big fan of incorporating a wide range of blocks you wouldn't think to use. It's almost like a challenge, finding ways to include some obscure blocks, and it definitely adds a layer of depth to builds. So this is a map of the new district of Lapis. If you couldn't tell, the Arc De Triomphe is positioned just in the center of downtown. Looking at the other plots though, I'm thinking for today we'll build up a residence right behind the arc, covering up the wool farm. We'll name these residence centers. It's a pretty long strip of buildings, so that'll be all we do for the rest of this video. However, looking down the road, down here is the church. I promise it's a church, as strange as it looks. Next to that is a weirdly shaped building, which will be a set of shops. That's all I got now though. We need to add to this map though, so let me know what other buildings or industries this city needs. Eventually, as we advance this city, I want to fill this map with the names of all the places in this district, but this is a good start. Enough planning though, we still have one more building to construct. But first to the beaches, because I need to gather some more sandstone so we can build up this building. I plan on making this set of buildings one long strip as opposed to making each section different. As I research for inspiration for builds like these, I'm noticing that many of the French style buildings are very long and similar in design, very different than New York City, what I'm used to, where buildings are arranged each with a respective plot. I'm also working on my cleanliness with detailing in this district, so the goal behind this build is the perfect balance between chaotic and clean, a strong attention to detail, but not too much to look vomity. So this is the main structure, all levels except the roof. I was thinking about building it one more floor higher, but I didn't want it to compete with the Arc. I want the Arc to be the tallest build in this district, as it should be. This is the first time I've ever used this block palette for a build. I've been really wanting to work with the beehives for these French style builds. They kind of look similar to bricks, almost like an oak brick, so I combined it with oak and stripped logs, and some stripped jungle log for differentiation. I also tried something new on the first floor. You're gonna have to let me know whether I should keep it or not, but these paintings are supposed to be some form of sign or advertisement. Again, imagination. There's no interior in here besides the farm as of now. Maybe I'll eventually add like a tunnel leading to the farm so it looks somewhat nice, but for now I'll just leave it as villager settlements. All that's left is the roof of this build, and it should look much cleaner than our past builds, which is what I'm aiming for. As I said, I want every build to be a step up from the last, so I could see myself advance in skills as the world advances. Anyways, let's build. And building one of this district is now complete, and I am definitely satisfied with this. As I said, it's a lot bigger. I use the alternative residential building as a partial reference, so this is like a much wider version of that base design. I know the smoke is unrealistic, but come on, it's immersive. I think it's much cleaner though. What do you think? And the perfect height compared to the Arc. Also, both of these builds are already up on my Patreon, so if you want the schematic download and feel like supporting me, I will provide it in the description. I really enjoy building in this style. I'd like to say it's pretty unique, different from the usual medieval medieval route that people and I myself occasionally tend to take in their world. And especially as me a detailer, I really enjoy building more modernly. There's so many more opportunities for little details, but I'm very excited to see how this district will advance these next few weeks. And I think it's time for a cinematic of all the cities so far to get you up to speed on all of the recent progress. It is the time of the video where I add a few names to the wall who helped make this episode possible, whether through monetary support or suggestions that I decided to add into the video. The first few names I'm adding are Anton and Freddy. Both of you guys supported me through Patreon, and that really means a lot, so thank you so much for that. Again, all the buildings in this city are on my Patreon if you're interested. But the next couple of names, and I had to do some digging to find you guys, all recommended some form of monument, so I figured to add all of you, so thank you guys for that. I had a fun time building it, especially making it a mob farm. There wasn't really an intention at first, it just kind of came to my mind mid-build. Again, if you want to be on the opera walls, just keep commenting suggestions, it really means a lot, and I'm trying my best to fulfill all the requests. But I have a lot planned down the road. I want this district to be more realistic than the last, so bigger buildings, better views. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We still have to survive. That's gonna do it for this episode. Thank you so much for staying this far. If you want to support me further, I drink lots of coffee to put out these videos, so I put my Buy Me a Coffee down below, as well as my Patreon, which has downloads for all of my builds. Also, I'm really trying to enhance my production, so there was lots more game audio and different styles of tracks for this video. The non-mojang artists are in the description. But let me know what we should build next, and I will see you then. So bye.